Hi, Vince with Complete Home Remodeling. What you're going to see in this video here is a framing setup for a new deck and overhead matching canopy, which will eventually become a fully screened in porch. So I wanted to go over just the framing with you, and keep in mind everything that you see here also has to be included in a written drawing or diagram submitted for your local building approvals to obtain permits. So I wanted to give you a quick idea of what we did here. So we have a very large setup here. This is 19 across going this way by 12 out. Okay, and what we decided to do here is to really beef this up because this is almost like an addition. The only difference being, as it's all attached to the dwelling, difference being obviously there's no finished walls or there's no year-round service. It's going to be a screened-in porch, but what's really nice about it is later on it can be converted into like a 3-season room, and this is why it's set up this way, and it's also why you see such beefy lumber, and I'm going to go through that with you real quick. So first off, we're using 2x12s by 12 foot, and the biggest thing, and what you'll have to do also, I'm going to show you here, is our ledger plate. So our ledger plate is what attaches to your facade or your building. Okay, in your permit application you'll have to have a separate diagram of that ledger plate indicating a bolt pattern going across. So we're every 16-inch on a bolt pattern. Okay, obviously we're skipping for window height, but you'll see that follows all the way through with a double bolt. Now those bolts there are 8 inches long, and what they do is they go through the brick and they penetrate right up to the block foundation. Okay, I'm sorry, they're 7-inch bolts. And then there's an anchor that is put in on those bolts. So the way we did that was drilled it out, set the anchor in, started our thread, knocked the bolt forward, threaded more, knocked the bolt forward, threaded more. So you actually get right to butting up on that block foundation, and then you crank down on those bolts, and those bolts will actually do a really good job. So it's a 1/2-inch bolt, galvanized, with a 1/2-inch by 3-inch sleeve to go into. Second part is every joist has to be on a hanger. Okay, so we're utilizing hangers for everything, and that's going to utilize that on the back end this way also. So there are deck hangers. Hard to see with the sun. It's pretty nice out here today. All right, so this whole thing, establishing this, okay, ledger, levels out all the way across. So poured footings, and what we did, because we're trying to achieve a certain elevation, if you look over here, you'll see we're trying to wrap the second step. That piece of plywood's a temporary makeshift step for the homeowner. I don't know why they need to use that, but see how we're wrapping that step? So we're eliminating 2 steps, and the final product will have 2 concrete steps from the original. And the way that we did that is we came out here, and instead of using a stump post underneath of our triple beam, by the way, this is a triple beam, 2x12, manufactured on site. And what we did was we adjusted our sonotube pours, which are our footings, and this was equally spaced out, I think, at 4 foot, 3 inches each. And the idea, if you look on the end, that goes right to the end. So the idea was to get a level plane on the footings so that this beam can sit right on there. Now another thing you'll have to watch for is that any connection to concrete, you cannot have direct contact between wood and concrete. It's a code violation. It is pressure treated, so usually you can get away with it, but they want to see everything mechanically fastened. So you wouldn't be able to really just sit that concrete, or I'm sorry, sit that beam on top of your piers. It has to be mechanically fastened, and you can see we've done that. We've put a shot into the final concrete, attached a cleat, and come up and wrap around that post. And then you'll see each post that offers support is also mechanically fastened. Okay, if you follow over this way, you'll see all corners have a mechanical heavy-duty corner. There's another shot of the plates. Okay, secondary part. Once your joists are all installed, and these are all at 16-inch on center, starting out from the end. Over here is just a little bit of field indifference because of the step. we still maintain 16 all the way over to here, which is number 2. Okay. Next, what you're going to want to do is you have to have box plating. That's what I call it, box plating. It's rigid plating. What that does is that keeps those joists from twisting, racking, turning. This is the best method that I know. They do sell an anchor. Simpson Tie has a crisscross anchor system. You can install that as well. Both are effective in the job. Okay. Now, if you take a look at the setup on the post, okay, we've set this up at 80 inches. So 80 inches, when you're standing here, from the bottom of that beam to the top of that beam is 80 inches. Basically, your door, your entryway into your home averages 80 inches as a standard. Some are 78, but this particular one we made 80. Okay, now one other thing. Now we're into the canopy above. The canopy above, if you notice, looks identical to the frame below, except for our step area. And the idea in that is obviously to match its construction, but we've decided instead of going 24-inch center on this, we went ahead and did 16-inch center, which offers a much beefier roof. It averages maybe about 3 or 4 extra beams, but well worth it. So if you take a look up top, now you have a secondary ledger, and that secondary ledger offers the same thing: 7-inch bolts with their anchors, beefy corners, plating, and then hangers for every joist. So where you look, every bolt pattern is set up on 16 center, and skip through that, every joist is set up on 16-inch center, all the way down. And then we turned about and did the box plating this way also. So you can probably park a car either on the deck or on the roof of this. Now for this particular setup, our support beam, we have a triple 2x10. We didn't need to go with a triple 2x12. It offers a little bit of extra height that we really didn't want to get. We wanted to maintain this shed style slope roof, which is probably a 2.